Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Josh Guillory Show. I am your grateful host, and in studio with me, Q-Dog over there. What's up, Quentin?
How's it going?
Oh, turn your mic on, boy.
How's it going?
Going very good, very good. We're also broadcasting live on Rumble. Let me see you over there at rumble.com. And shout out to our broadcasting audience over there at KLFY Plus. We certainly appreciate you guys. Big Tim, ooh, you barely beat Bandit. Bandit, you've been on it too, boy. Hey, good Monday afternoon, Big Tim. Happy Monday, Bandit, and to everyone else. Hey, guys, also, you can catch the show. Go on to my X page, which is at Josh Guillory USA. You can go to our show's social media pages. All the major ones, all the things. We're on YouTube and all the above. All right, so, but go check us on Rumble. That's where our chat is. I want to see your chat on Rumble. I want to hear you. I want you to see us on Rumble, on KLFY Plus, and all the good things, okay? All right, this topic. I have several articles if we have time to cover on it. This one. Epstein. Have you heard of Epstein? Yeah, all right, yeah, you've heard of him. All right, cool. So, there's a little article from from Reuters, which I terribly butchered that word, shocker, the first time, about a year ago, me and Jamie were doing the show. Anyway, so Reuters is reporting they're outlining, the little fight in Congress over releasing the full, not this little crumb stuff, the full releasing of the Epstein files. Nothing. Don't hide anything back. And I'm with them. Republican and Democrat. I'm with you. Bring the truth. We can handle it. Speaker Johnson says that an upcoming vote should end, however. He's like, yeah, we'll vote on it. And it should end the Democrat narrative trying to tie President Trump to Epstein's crimes. This is typical, though. But this is what you see. You see this from the Democrat Party, but you see this from rhinos. When they don't have a platform, they only attack. And when they attack, they're usually doing the things that they're saying the other guy or gal is doing. It's just what they do. It's effective. 2025, maybe we're seeing some changes. But this little article, it was good. Again, outlines everything going on up there, but I'm happy to see the speaker. I mean, he's saying outright, you assume third in line there, 2 heartbeats away. I would imagine he's seen everything or has access to it. But Speaker Johnson says Democrats have pushed a false narrative linking Trump to Epstein and wants the release vote to shut that down. He says, bring on the vote. Trump don't have anything to worry about. I agree, but I agree on this notion. And once we cover the next article, it's going to it'll probably make your blood boil like it made mine. But here's the deal. Joe Biden was the president for 4 years. Now, he may not know that, but we know that. Now, I say that with love. I don't know the words of the half of the English dictionary. Probably more. But Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Schumer, all those guys. If you think for a moment that they would not have dropped that and hammered Trump when they had their heel on his neck, they tried to convict him. They made up charges. They tried to kill him twice. Couldn't put him in jail. Couldn't kill him. You can have your own thoughts on the 2020 election. And then they couldn't beat him here. So if you're telling me if they had an ounce of any links to Jeffrey Epstein, that would have been over every mass media cover. There's no way he lives that down. And there's no way they don't tell people or release it. But Johnson says there's nothing to hide. And he wants House action on the Justice Department's Epstein records. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and I might be wrong, okay? Genuinely. Weren't House Republicans pushing against releasing the Epstein files?
I think just 2 weeks ago.
Right. Outside of Massey and MTG and maybe a handful of others. Those are the two I remember. Like, really, man? Like, this is nuts. But yeah, he says though now, look, I'm gonna always reward good behavior. Thank you, the speaker. I think this is great. You're on the right side of history here. I don't know why you weren't 2 months ago. I just 2 years. Hey, whatever. But President Trump now. Here's a little thing. The article highlights that President Trump has already ordered DOJ to investigate prominent Democrats connected to Epstein. He has. He probably should have handled that differently. I'm just saying. Now, look, good guys should go fight bad guys. They should go fight crime, see crime, fight crime, see crime, fight crime. But it should be blind to justice. And, you can be tough on crime and let the process play itself out. But here's the deal. When you do things like this, first of all, you don't have to. So if you don't have to, you should question whether you should. And we are doing so great economically, as far as like the trajectory. I know there's bumps and all that stuff, but for the most part, all in all, we can at least agree it's not what the mass media said it was going to be. Can we at least agree on that? Come on now. So, but when we got to be careful. You see, President Trump's not going to get the benefit of the doubt. He's just not. Republicans in general, for the most part, not every media outlet. I'm not one of those guys, but a large majority of mass media is in the tank for the elites, who predominantly identifies Democrat. But there's plenty of Republicans, plenty of rhinos. Elite is bipartisan. But I'm just saying, you got all this good stuff going on. Just let the DOJ do the DOJ's thing. And if the Democrat was linked up with Epstein, okay, then call it out. If a Republican was linked up with Epstein, okay, call it out. I do believe that's what most people want. Absolutely. I do believe that most people want to know the truth. We were talking about that in a break. And that's why shows, like this and everybody else's that have one, podcasts. I think we're almost like a bunch of microbreweries. We really are. And you have to be now, because where else are you going to get raw data? Like this show, I come on, I usually cite a source. I tell you where to go get it or whatnot. I give my thoughts, kind of that as a starting guide. And we just kind of talk. That's about as raw as you can get. And my duty to you as a host, be honest, period. Don't know something, hey, say don't know. Make a mistake, come on air and say you made a mistake, all that stuff, okay? Be open-minded, but I really do want to increase the dialogue. Hey, shout out Kill Switch, you know what I'm talking about. Question 8. Our rhino got our tax. So question 8 says, our rhino got our taxes increased once again. Yeah, Lafayette Parish, man, you had a vote this last weekend, and even though the current administration has $100 million more than the last administration, you're welcome for that economy. We did. Instead of giving the folks a little breathing room, little help with their budget in these times, and decrease taxes. Well, I'm just saying that's all I'm going to say on local politics. But I'm just saying, as a taxpayer, when you have $100 million more than the recent guy, all right, when you have $100 million more with that, why wouldn't you go and finish Brown Park? Why wouldn't you go finish Homewood? Why wouldn't you pave every road in Lafayette Parish and decrease taxes? Remember, they have $100 million more of recurring revenue. Recurring. I just rattled off one-time expenditures that you can also use that recurring revenue to maintain the one-time expenditures. Governing is not hard if you do it with common sense. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Salad, steak, Cajun cuisine, and much, much more. Go visit my friends over there at Prejean.
Where's your holiday?
Are we off of Rumble?
Oh, I just don't know what to get my...
Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Also, go catch us live over there at Rumble. It's starting to heat up over there. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, question 8, man. I'm with you. Yeah, these local elections impact, and that's across our listening and viewing audience. You know, whenever you have a millage or council seat, mayor seat, whatever, representative, but representative more state, but those local levels, man, that's where the rubber meets the road. And as a conservative, we care about philosophy, but I can live with San Francisco. Like, it affects my life so much in a much small way, tinier way than if San Francisco's governing as opposed to California, as opposed to the United States. Like, I'm not impacted. That's a problem that's why Roe versus Wade was so flawed from a constitutional standpoint, because abortion's not in the Constitution. Neither is the word substantive before the phrase due process. And that's important because that's how it was extended. The liberty interest in due process was extended to create this substantive due process, fairness, all that good stuff, which, hey, whatever, that's their prerogative as the court. They can interpret the Constitution. It's kind of like what they're supposed to do. That is what they're supposed to do. So anyway, let's go back to this, though. But but Roe versus Wade, not in the Constitution, like abortion. That's why it's a 10th Amendment deal. 10th Amendment says go to the states. I don't care. I don't live in New York. I don't live in Oregon. Whatever they pass, whatever. I'm a conservative. I don't care. I care as long as what... You, as a liberal mayor in podunk liberal land, will spend tax dollars more cost effectively than a Republican in Washington, more than likely, because the rubber meets the road on the local level. That's why budgets and millages and all these things are very important. And it's very important in my opinion, for local constituents to know where your money's going. And it's not unreasonable to ask, at minimum, how much money do we have coming in? I can tell you because I was there. Other people can tell you in their respective cities and towns because they were there or are there. Now, what the local elites across the board, this is not one location, it's everywhere, what they will tell you is it's complicated. But government budgeting is complicated. Man, just because you can't handle... I'm kidding. It's not... Do y'all know what? When I got in government and when I got out of government, do y'all know that 1 + 1? It's crazy. It's still equal to... I'm telling you, it was not a trick equation. 1 + 1 = 2. You don't have to. And this is always good in an interview. Well, as you know, government accountants complicate. No, it's not. Don't spend more money than you have. Have it organized and be transparent. Do exactly what the law says to do, and everybody's good. Be honest. Work hard. Put your time in. Be a good steward. And move on. It's not hard. Got any families out there? Got any businesses out there? I tell you who knows. Tell you. Anywho. Now, let's go back to this. Epstein. So there's a vote. Well, we're pushing a vote. And what started with a few has now become many. Polling will do that. There was only like 2 Republicans 2 months ago.
Up until a week ago.
Oh my gosh. It literally was just Massey and Green. Are you kidding me?
They were the only 2 to sign the discharge petition.
Man, and that's why we said, now look, I know, we got to get the show out there on the East Coast a little more and they would know these things, but we do have some listeners on the East Coast. We appreciate you guys on the Rumbles. Rumble.com. Check us out, the Josh Guillory Show. But yeah, so Trump over all this, over MTG, being really, really vocal about it. Yeah, Trump recently withdrew his support for Marjorie Taylor Greene after disagreements on the issues of the day. Not just this one. It included her approach on the Epstein file. So, he pulled his... What? That's a lot. I'm telling you, the media is going to run with it. Like, it's such high school stupid. He's not going to support her. Until next week, I guess. I don't know. I mean, but MTG, man, I hope she has gained a lot of... I hope she's gained a lot more points with you guys as she has with me. Because here's the deal. Green says she still supports him, still supports full transparency, and she even after that, she said she does not believe Trump is implicated at all. She has very much been the grown-up in the room, which, I don't know if that was always there and we didn't see it, because perhaps it would. And look, there are a lot of talented artists, for example, there's a lot of talented artists, but sometimes you can't show your talent until you're noticed. And sometimes the only way to be noticed is to be extreme. And once you're extreme, you got the platform, you got the recognition, you have the name ID, you have the following, and then you put out your quality stuff. Perhaps that's what MTG had to do. Maybe she had to come, I'm going to get some heat for this. Maybe she's the Lady Gaga of the Republican Party. I'll go on record. I'm going to get some heat for this too. As far as talent goes, I'm not talking about politics. Talent-wise, Lady Gaga is very talented. She can sing, she can write, she choreographs. I'm a son of a musician, can y'all tell? But I always appreciate musicians that can songwrite, and I appreciate musicians in general, but especially that have a two-piece or more, meaning vocals and an instrument. And she is phenomenal at both. She's phenomenal at the piano. She's phenomenal at vocalist. And I think she even plays a guitar. But look, when she steps into the political world, of course we disagree. She does not like our president, and I think he's doing a fantastic job. But I'm not boycotting anything I like. Now, I might not go spend money, but I'm not going to be... Hey, but if you are, great! Great! Because the last time I checked, this is freedom. This is America. And it's okay if we disagree. I think if we all just get on a movement to calm the flip down and just say, hey, everything is not a you versus me thing. Did y'all know that? Like if we would just pump the brakes a little bit. And it starts at the top. But actually, no, it will never start at the top. Because that's what they do. They want to control, unless you have a true conservative who says, I don't want the power. I want to give local governments the power. Those are the guys you say, hey. That's why term limits are so needed. Why? You won't vote for term limits because it impacts your power. And that's someone that doesn't need power. That's someone that doesn't need power. All right, guys, we're going to cut into a tiny little break. Don't go anywhere. Quentin, don't run. I'm telling you, I'm coming right. It's going to be great, too. All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. There you go. That's good. That was on me. I gave you a false hand and arm signal. All right. Hey, shout out to our guys and gals over there at Rumble. Go check us out. Rumble.com, the Josh Guillory Show. We're broadcasting live from the KPEL studios, rebroadcast on KLFY Plus. Certainly appreciate everyone. Quentin, my favorite time of the whole show. You know how to do those phone lines? You know, you're good. In the worst case scenario, would take us off air. Hey, wouldn't be the first time. Yours truly did that. You take us off the air one time, and it's a big deal. All right, guys, phone lines are open. There you go. I was about to say, y'all are all lit up earlier. 232-1542. 844-766-6607. Let me go to that chat first. Hey, Killswitch, I'm with you. He says, no way! MTG is over the deep end. She acts like her life is in danger for siding with the leftist lunatics. Hey, Killswitch, there's a lot of people that agree with you here. And I do remember she's a passionate person. So passionate. And here's my Rumble folks. Here's that pendulum. You see that pendulum swinging? Man, I can relate. I can relate so much to this. When I got in office the first, I just wanted to help people, man. I just wanted to help. When I got out, I wanted to help. That's all I wanted to do. But I was like a wrecking ball. You know what I mean? Now, some could argue, well, when you inherit a, multi-million-dollar deficit, your government is blown out the wazoo and no infrastructure is being done, virtually little. Yeah, you kind of have to. But I did learn over time, just because you can, doesn't mean you should. And just because it will help some people, maybe other people will get so upset but that they'll go make life worse for the people you're trying to help. So you gotta have to, for whatever reason, that happens. But you learn these things. I think MTG's doing that. I think she's been so hardcore right. And I'm not gonna say even right or left, because I don't know if that exists. I know what a conservative is. And I identify as it, and I think she is too still, even with all these little antics, okay? But I really do believe, this is just my opinion, I really do believe she was so dug in on one side and taking a bunch of arrows, and I've been there too, taking a bunch of arrows, and I think at some point she's like, why? Why? And now I'm the one in the field as a congressman who has to get these calls from these constituents who literally are in need. Okay? She wasn't unreasonable. Now, that's the position. The part I'm talking about is how she communicates it. Passionate person. She's dug in. She's naturally, that pendulum has a lot of weight. It is going to swing so far this way until it finds its natural resting place back in the conservative camp. That's just what's going to happen. That's just what's going to happen. Anybody that's extreme is always going to be extreme until they learn how to make those rigid edges a little more curved, so you don't have to always. I'm telling you, man, I've been through there. Military guy going to business, going to office for the first time. Yeah, I mean, you just used to doing it a certain way, and achieving what you seek. All right. Anyway, let's go to Warren. Warren! What's up, Warren?
Shazam!
Bam!
Donald Trump, 25, losers, 0. And I'm not tired of winning yet, but I think nasty Pinocchio got tired of losing. I think she threw in the towel. It's a little too much for her.
She got a stock trade.
Then your boy Diddy's in trouble again. Alcohol and some kind of three-way. I think he's having a really hard time in prison. What's been going around is coming around. I think we need to try to encourage him. We need to send him a song. What's that song? What's new, pussycat?
Warren! Warren! I didn't know where we're going with that last line. I didn't know he was talking about it first. He's talking about Diddy.
Well, isn't he in prison?
Yeah, that's what he's talking about. So we just...
Isn't he smuggling in phones and
What?
other like gourmet meals and whatnot.
Whoa! Really? I'm in the club. I don't know, man. I don't know. Martha Stewart said Camp Cupcake was no cupcake. I'm just telling you. Hey, if you haven't seen that documentary on, I think it's on Netflix. I don't know, but whatever it's on. Hey, man, I'm gonna take a little time before we get. I got some more on this Epstein thing. Yeah, Kill Switch. Go to that Rumble. You're making some good points in there, man. This whole, we're learning a lot about the government. We're learning a lot about the federal government that we may have suspected over time but didn't know. Or maybe we just, I'm going to tell you my journey. You call in, phone lines are open. You tell me yours, 232-1542. But my journey maybe was forced naivety. It might have been. I believed in our country, and I still do. I still believe in our country. I don't believe in the majority of the elected officials. And they are elected officials. Yes, there's a political component to that. But they are actually doing policy and it's hurting us. I wish they would just do politics. Can we pass a law where they can't do anything now that the government's open? Just leave us alone. Our founders would love that. Hey, what are y'all doing? And y'all are getting paid for this? What? And what is a federal employee? Can anybody tell me? Washington would be very upset. One of his only warnings to us, we have totally, and you can go Google that to see it. But yeah, I think we're learning a lot about our country. I trusted these institutions so much. I thought the FBI were good guys. And look, we're good guys. For the most part, and I'm just telling you, I would imagine most FBI agents are good people with good goals and good, honest love for the country, and we appreciate that. I'd say a majority. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the culture. I'm talking about a culture that's okay to go past. You don't have to follow all the rules as long as you get the stuff you need to get. Well, that sounds a lot like Marxism, right? Ends justify the means. And that's a culture thing. Again, I'm not calling any FBI agent out. I'm really not. The ones I'm an attorney, so I was in office, but my dealings with anybody, I can't recall a specific one, but I would imagine all those guys were good, most of them, not all. But that's for the most part. But that's anything you're dealing with. That's running a local Circle K to running the government, okay? It's what impact. And what I'm trying to say, and over, and what a lot of people are trying to say is we don't have as many policy problems as we think. We have a dependency on government problem, and it's twofold. It's no longer just the individual that is dependent on the federal government. We could probably last. We can rough that out. We did that for about 75 years. But see, guys, now the problem is states are now dependent on the federal government at levels that we would have never envisioned. Louisiana's 40% of its just under 40% of its population is on Medicaid. The federal government does not give us dollars without strings. Nowhere in our federal Constitution, the drafters of our Constitution, go read the Federalist Papers, go read the debates, heck, even go read the opinions of early Chief Justices, Chief Justice John Marshall being one. Nowhere in there is the intent of the dependency on the federal government that these states have, and it bleeds over to everything that means dear to you, to include your social issues. But if you have a government who is on the whim of emotion and subjective bias and opportunities to have self-gain and the whims of philosophy changing every 2 to 6 to 8 years, that's not stable for families. Working moms can't do that, neither should the government, but it will always be that way with a big federal government. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We're broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Also broadcasting live from Rumble.com. Kill Switch Martha. I thought he went in with Martha Stewart. And I don't have my glasses on, but this screen is right in front of me. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. I thought he said Martha Jean. And I was going to tell him, she ain't getting anywhere close to Pelosi, all right? She's unreal. But Kill Switch says Martha Stewart should know. She knows what Pelosi should find. All right, let's go to the phone lines. 232-1542, 844-766-6607. Let me hear from you. Caller, you are live on the Josh Guillory Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Josh, this is Mike calling from St. Martinville.
Mike, what's up, buddy? What's my friends over there at St. Martinville? Love it over there. Love it over there.
You were talking about the Fed government. I was thinking about our founders knew the dangers of a pure democracy, so they gave us the best thing they could in the constitutional republic. Then they added the Bill of Rights, which is actually rights against the government, right?
Yes.
To make sure that they don't infringe on us.
Woo!
And I think it was Ben Franklin when asked, "What kind of government have you given us, sir?" And he turned around and he said, "A constitutional republic, if you can keep it, man."
Woo!
And I think it was Davy Crockett who was a senator, and he said, when we vote in people that will think they can give money out the general treasury, then we open a floodgate that cannot be stopped. And that's where we are right now. We have people that get elected by the people that they take from, and then they in turn become millionaires off the grift of the government. And unfortunately, I think our founders' worst case scenario came true, because they knew what was in the heart of man and his greed, and they did the best they could. But we just need to elect people that can hang on and get back to those principles.
Whoo, man, that's a great. It's Mike, right, from St. Martinville?
Yes, sir.
Mike, man, dude, I love that call. Love your call. Love your points, man. Call back in soon sometime. We appreciate that. Let me just.
Josh, thank you, man.
Hey, thanks, brother. Tell all my people in St. Martin. I said, hey, love going out there. I do a lot of family law, and I'll go out there and beautiful courthouse, beautiful people, wonderful folk. It really is historic. But love the churches there. You can go to traditional Latin Mass on Sundays. I think it's at noon. Really cool place over there, St. Martin. Anywho, a lot of cool places within all of our viewing and listening audience. We certainly appreciate that. Yeah, so interesting. We're talking about President Garfield in the break, and Jamie last few weeks have been mentioning President Garfield. He watched a documentary, but so right after the Civil War, you had this spoil system, or you had this, and then you had people that kind of wanted, and they were stalwarts and things like that. And then you had the other guys that said, man, we don't like this. We want it fair. We want this merit-based type stuff. So, and that's how we had which gave us the birthplace of civil service, because the spoil system after the Civil War for about 30 years, Reconstruction, all that stuff, literally the party in charge, which was the Republican Party at the time, but there was faction, okay? But the powers that be had the spoil system. So the early parts of the Republican Party in there, first probably 10, 15 years, first 25, 30 years after the Civil War, basically the party won, and then they came to the victor is the spoils. And they would hand out all these government jobs. Everybody's on the dole. I mean, think about it. New nation, industrial revolution. We got all this money. We don't know what to do with it. Let's reward our folks. Merit. So, spoil system, all right? And then you go into people like President Garfield, and there's others with him. He just became president. And then Chester Arthur, of all people, who was part of the spoil system, actually passed President Garfield's initiative of bringing a civil service to federal employees, and that it's merit-based, and that you get the job based on what you know, not who you know, and you keep your job based on what you do and not who you please. You see what I'm saying? Boy, we have come a long way from that civil service model. Not saying that part has not been lost. The merit-based a little bit, only because of what we've allowed it to become. And now it's a big bureaucratic party that really is not the intention. It's not in a position to easily execute the will of the elected official who is sent to office to do things based on a majority of the electorate's decisions or thoughts and views, at least who showed up to vote. And that's why Trump is upsetting the apple cart. Because Trump he just bulldozes right through that bureaucracy as he should. Now there's some that maybe he oversteps, and the courts have, throughout the real process, not these activist judges, I'm just saying that, not an activist judge, but more so throughout the process to appeal or on the Supreme Court writ. But that's why you're seeing all these elites get mad. That's why you're seeing all these Democrats and Republicans Democrats that can't stand Trump, Republicans that don't know how to deal with them. Now they just understand they can't, so they're just going to let him do what he needs to do, and the American people are better for it. But it's not that Trump is doing things that upset Democrats or elite Republicans. It's because that Trump is he's just going to get results, and he doesn't care about your bureaucratic ways. There may be some benefits of having the oldest president in office who actually has the, not knocking on anybody, but he has the energy and the mindset to do it. But there does come some wisdom with age, and maybe we're seeing that. I would even say, look at President Trump's term right now versus President Trump's term the first time. All right. Okay, guys, stick around. Hour number 2, right around the corner. We ain't going nowhere. We are going to switch topics. Hunter Biden back in the news? Let's talk about it a little bit when we get back. Good. Am I on? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Woo, I got it out. Don't worry. We did this. We did it together. All right, welcome to hour number 2 of the Josh Guillory Show. I remain your very grateful host. And in studio with me still, Q-Dog, Q-Dizzy in the hizzy.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo! Good afternoon. I'm excited, man, about what we're about to talk about because it's silly. It is kind of silly, but let's talk about it. So, have you heard of Hunter Biden? You've heard of that guy, right? Yeah,
I have.
Yeah. He's been in the news. Well, he's in the news again. All right. So Fox News is reporting that the article that I read is Hannah Panrick, if you want to go and look her up. So Hunter Biden is basically arguing that Democrats and several media figures, he's hammering, he's arguing that they're being weak or having dishonest journalism. No. A Democrat? Oh, wait, a Democrat feels that way? How's that? Let's talk about it. How's that happen?
Wait, Hunter Biden called someone dishonest?
Yeah, yeah. He wouldn't lie. Yeah, so Hunter Biden said Democrats should, quote, turn the temperature up. Well, he would know all about it. But he said, no, Democrats. You should be turning the temperature up when discussing extremism. Though he said he does not, but not violence. No, not violence. He didn't even mean that. Just turn it up a little bit. Well, Hunter, I don't know if you noticed, but there's already violence. So what do you want to turn it up to?
He's going to have to clean the rice pot. It's going to boil over. What's he boiling?
Yeah, true. So you like this. He said Democrats need to speak truth to power. It's truth to power. More aggressive, he said, on political messaging. Well, all right. Let's talk about that, Hunter. You would have to have a message to be aggressive. You have no message. It's just like rhinos. What do they have? They don't have a principle. They're not principled. So all they can do is attack. They'll never tell you what they're going to do. They'll never tell you an idea. Not a real one or not a unique one for sure. They won't even tell you. They dang sure won't tell you how they're going to get there. But in their defense, most politicians either don't know or won't. They won't, most, not all. They only criticize. And it's not just criticize, it's like attack, and it's what they're doing. It's usually what they or someone that's close to them has done or is doing. I know there's a psychological term for that. I have no clue what it is. So, but back to old Hunter, our friend, old Hun. He criticized talking heads on MS Now. Are they officially MS Now? MSDNC, MSNBC is now MS Now. I wonder if they compete with the Wow, like Now and Wow. No, I tried.
I just remember that time that CNN Plus lasted less time than Russia and Ukraine.
I tell you what, Plus is working. KLFY Plus, thank
Absolutely.
y'all. Happy to be part of the team. So anyway, Hunter Biden, he criticized talking heads on MS Now. And he said Democrats in leadership need to talk more forcefully about issues involving the Supreme Court and other debates. Hold up, swole up. What are you talking about? So what you're alluding to, criminal, is I shouldn't be name called. I'm sorry. It's just hard on this one. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. It's not nice. But here's the deal. You want to talk about basically what you're alluding to is judicial activism, and I'm saying it nicely what you're saying, okay? It sounds like what you're saying is that the Supreme Court is out of line on interpreting the Constitution. That's what it seems like. And I think Hunter's a lawyer. No, what you've seen is The only branch by the Constitution's design that is created is the Supreme Court. And what we've noticed over time, and Chief Justice John Marshall, again, a good second reference to him, he will tell you things like, in the high court before him and during his term as Chief Justice, will tell you about things like judicial review and all those stuff and how we got to where we got. Take the time to read it. It's helpful. Now, all of that was said for one reason. The only people that are activating being activists from the bench have been these district judges. And I wouldn't even say the appellate courts. I mean, maybe you can argue by not overturning it, but it's a different type of review when you go on appeal. And I don't give passes where they're not due. I'm just telling you, I don't know of a single incident off the top of my head where I can pinpoint the appellate court doing that. What I can pinpoint a lot are district judges impacting national policy. And that's not part of the Constitution, and nor is it congressional intent. And that's very important because lower courts, if you don't know, the district courts, trial courts, and the appellate courts are created by Congress. They are not created by the Constitution. They are not constitutional courts. They are created by the legislative body and has done so since the Judiciary Act of 1789, if you really want to nerd out. So Hunter, I do it. Hunter Biden, he attacked Jake Tapper. He's a friendly. We got dim on dim. Don't say it too loud. Hunter's going to get excited. Say TV, video, and dim. Hunter attacked Jake Tapper, though. He claimed Tapper had a hardball discussion with President Trump over text and calling it an abdication of responsibility as a journalist. So when one of your people kind of are in the middle, that's your reaction? That's your reaction.
Well, they're absolutist. You either have to categorically believe everything they say.
That is right.
Or you're completely wrong about everything.
What a great way to put that. What a great way to put that. And that's the philosophy of big government. And now listen, I'm not saying people that believe that the federal government is the answer for everything. I'm not saying they are evil. I'm just saying that model allows evil to happen way, way easier than if you broke up that machine and let local governments govern their people. And if you have to have a bigger government, let the state come in. I say this all the time. Imagine, everybody right now, let's all put our thinking cap on. Put my thinking cap on. Imagine if the government on all three levels, and really just the state and the federal is what I'm talking about. What if you did just what you were supposed to do and nothing else? Imagine what we would do. Now, leaders at the local level would have to lead, but they do. They do. Democrat, bandit. He was pardoned. You're right. He's not a criminal. Look, Democrat, Republican, Independent, Martian Party. I don't know. I don't care. There's just more. There's more accountability at the local level. We as conservatives understand that. We as appreciators of the founding principles that made our country last 250 years. Really, the first 150, 175 going strong. But man, we've pivoted. We've pivoted. I love that caller from Mike from St. Martin. Man, he was nailing it over there. All great callers, of course. But MS Now host Lawrence O'Donnell also criticized Tapper for his text interview. Okay. Hunter attacked. I mean, he didn't look. He was like slicing in with dice in the mirror. I mean, it was like he attacked Abby Phillip. He attacked commentator Scott Jennings for what he called parroting lies. He said, how can a Biden talk about parroting lies? You had the entire mass media regurgitating your lies. About you, Hunter, about you. I mean, these people think we're stupid. These people think I'm telling you, these elites, they think that we are stupid. The difference is now we have more access because of shows like this and podcasts and it's like microbreweries now across the country. Everybody's just kind of talking about the same thing, but in a raw way. In a very raw way where it's no bashfulness, good, bad, or ugly, here it is. And inviting dialogue. And then that's probably more of truth telling than what we've seen. I still believe in our media outlets. I'm serious. They have a very important role, and done right, they can help a lot of people, and I still got faith in them. They're not all bad. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We're broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We're also broadcasting live on Rumble, rumble.com. Go check us out. That chat's popping over there, rumble.com. Look up the Josh Guillory Show, and you can be a part of it by chatting in. And you can view us. You can see old episodes, all the things. Go check us out on my socials, on the Pages socials, the Josh Guillory Show. You can also go to my personal X page at Josh Guillory USA. And certainly a shout out to our KLFY Plus viewing audience. We love you all. All righty. So let's go here. Now, Hunter, it's hard for me to even get through this. But he said that he said the media ecosphere is being overtaken by oligarchs. Okay, now, we can agree. I will meet you where you're at. I'm going to try. I can't meet everybody where they're at, but I try. He's right in this regard about the central, but this is so ironic that a Democrat is saying that you love power, you love centralized control power, but yet you don't want the media to have oligarchs and centralized power. That's very interesting that you say that. You like the oligarchs and the centralized power of the mass media corporations when you're in charge and they're giving you cover and they're not holding your little self to the standard that maybe a Republican president's son would be handled. That's very interesting, Hunter. Do the talking heads know you're talking? That's a genuine. That people are going to say I was mean there. I'm like generally. Do the grown-ups know he is talking to other adults? It's a fair question. Nancy. Oh, she's getting out. Never mind. She retired. Chuck. Joni Ernst. Oh, I had to. Hey, my role, man. I know we can find $2.1 trillion. Joni Ernst in Iowa. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. I had to keep the streak. You thought I was going to have kept the streak. All right. So this little interview, it gives us a window into like the mindset of a political family that has spent years blaming everyone else except themselves. Oh, it couldn't have been you. It couldn't have been you, Hunter. It couldn't have been you. It couldn't have been President Biden. It couldn't have been your dad. No. It has to be someone else. Hunter Biden wants Democrats to turn the temperature up, but he insists he does not mean violence. They're already violent. Literally, the other day, we were literally, like within, 2-3 weeks, we reported on a Turning Point USA rally on a peaceful campus, UC Berkeley, and a guy has to walk out with his bloodied up face, blood still, it was so bad the blood was still on the concrete. You know how much blood has to pour for that? It's a decent amount. It's not something to just, brush off. My goodness. And I think 8 people were total injury. Dude, like, what do you want to turn up? But Hunter, guys. They are so out of touch with reality. They need to get out of their ivory tower, go outside, and touch at least a blade of grass. I mean, my goodness. But it does give us that little window. But where do you turn the violence up from? But let's say you're right. Okay, yeah, you don't want violence. Okay, that's fine. But the phrase, Hunter, you're giving away the strategy. You're giving away your strategy, okay? They want louder politics. How much louder? How much louder? I mean, you have Democrat elected officials in Congress telling people during the Trump administration the first time to literally go to cabinet members when they're out to eat with their families who do not welcome this, do not sign up for this, not voluntarily. Go ask Jamie Guillory. She was drafted. You served honorably, my dear. Honorable discharge. Anyway. All right, let's go back to this, though. All right, so Hunter, yeah. So, how much louder, man? He says they want sharper messaging. You don't have a message. He says they want a constant state of agitation. That is what we have right here. This is what we're dealing with. This is why the American people think, for the most part, elected officials are just not respectable people right now. And that's sad. I've served with plenty of people that are honorable and that really want to do the right thing. Probably most. But they're not the ones that have the microphone. And they're not the ones in leadership. And they're not the ones that created the system. But I don't care. I mean, you're in office, do something. And that's why, and legislators, I know, and look, I'm not going to say anybody in general. Legislators, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, son. I had to. My boy, my co-host at times, Congressman Clay Higgins, he's going to get a 5-timers jacket tag, I'm telling you. But legislators, just listen to me. I know you're busy. Most of you got a job, family, busy. And I know you think your entire world is in that bubble. And that's all you know. And I know that there are plenty of people, in the House leadership and the Senate leadership that are going to tell you that this is how it's always been. And that you can't change it. And that no matter what, blah, 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 blah. Thankfully, Louisiana has term limits, so it does curb that a little, but not as much as it probably should. But it's better than it was. Better than it was. But my legislative friends, I'm going to tell you something. You too can drop a bill. Legislators usually do. They do. They have no problem with dropping bills. But you really could drop one of substance if you wanted to. You really could. And the House had some measures like closed primaries. Kudos. Senate, not kudos. You watered it down. You got it back to more of the good old boy system in Louisiana. That's not cool. All right? But they're like, why don't we have no state income tax? Oh, but we're just going to get the revenue. Be quiet. It's not revenue. It's tax. It's money from the people. It's their treasure going into your treasury. Give the folks a break. Lower spending to offset it. You know what the problem is? We have to debate on revenue. Why aren't we debating? Here's the cuts. Now you come justify, why should I take out of the electorate's pocket to give you this for your program? Let them justify, oh no, we have to do it the opposite. We got to keep the doggone program going, and then we have to debate on why it shouldn't be there. As if the results alone do not speak for themselves. You know where you wouldn't get that from, state government in Baton Rouge? At the local level. Please remind, I know Huey P. Long was a Democrat, but can you please, there's something that happens. Y'all know it. There's something, and I think I know what it is. You see, we have messed up. When we elect a governor or anybody in leadership, we messed up. We messed up. Before the guy was signed in, we should have all sent him a bunch of cases of water. Because I'm convinced that once you get your silly ass in the governor's mansion and you start drinking that tap water, there's something that happens. And that's the only thing I can think of. All right, we'll take an early little break, guys. All right, stick around. Well, I'm kidding. And prayers is what we need. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPL studios here in Acadiana. Go check us out on rumble.com. Go to rumble.com, look up the Josh Guillory Show. You can see us and see old episodes and all the things, podcasts. We're going to have some new content coming out, so stick around on Rumble. Got some, just special features, all the things. So we were talking about Hunter Biden and his laptop. I'm joking. We're talking, we should be. But he's upset. He's mad. He thinks the Democrats aren't doing right. Said the media's soft. Said the Democrats should turn it up. I just don't know how much more. What do you mean by that? Guys are already hitting people, being violent. I'm saying that very loosely. You literally can't be any more. Well, I don't want to say that, but it's. How much more do you want to turn it up? Choose my words here. They're not very effective. And you want to do more of that? Just doesn't make sense. Oh, he did spend half the interview, though, attacking specific. I told you about that. Yeah, he attacked specific folks and, was calling out. He was throwing some shade, man. Some shade. You hear me? Let's go to Venezuela, though. Huh? Venezuela's been a little hotbed, man. At least as of late, especially when it talks about combating drugs, okay? And so there's a little story out coming from the Associated Press, and it details some pretty good U.S., or I say good, I'm not be the judge, but some pretty strong buildup over there in the Caribbean, centered on the arrival of the USS Gerald R. Ford near Venezuela. As part of the Trump administration's counter-drug mission, they ain't playing. So nearly a dozen Navy ships and about 12,000 sailors and Marines are now assigned to Operation Southern Spear. So U.S. forces have carried out at least 20, man, I didn't know it was that much, at least 20 boat strikes since early September, resulting in roughly 80 deaths to drug-running vessels. And of course, Democrat and elites, rhinos, of course, they want to support the American people and protect. No, they want to support the drug dealers. Ooh, does he even have authority to do that? Oh, let's just wait till they invade us. Yeah, there you go. That's a good idea. Why don't you send your family up if you? No, don't do that. But why you get your little self over there? But the carrier strike group includes not just Navy vessels. It's also released ships. It includes fighter squadrons, guided missile destroyers, and support ships moving through the Anegada Passage. It starts on today. Oh, everybody knows. Call in if you know it. So commanders on ground say that, or the U.S. commanders say that the mission is aimed at narco-terrorism threats in the Western Hemisphere. Marines from the 22nd Expeditionary Unit are conducting joint training exercises in Trinidad and another place I can't pronounce. Venezuelan officials, though, they call the exercises aggression. And old Maduro over there, he's facing narco-terrorism charges in the United States and doesn't understand. So, the U.S. government, it is important to know for diplomatic reasons, the U.S. government does not recognize Maduro as Venezuela's legitimate leader. Very important. Some foreign governments, the UN Human Rights Chief, and a handful of U.S. lawmakers have raised concerns about the scope of the strikes. How about the scope of the fentanyl that's killing our kids? Where are you at, UN? Where are you at, United Nations Human Rights Chief? Human rights? Are you at China? Have you been to China, human rights man? Have you been to Venezuela? Have you been to any of these places you think you care, you say you care about? Human rights. You let sweat camps with children in China and other places go scot-free, but you want to question the legality of us preemptively protecting kids and American families Give me a break. Human rights chief. Human rights. Please. Where are you at in Russia? Where are you at in other places? But I am certainly appreciative of having a president, finally, who treats the actual Western Hemisphere as a priority again. I mean, we were shipping all our resources, we were shipping all of our manpower, we were shipping all of our economy, and we were abandoning the hemisphere that we swore we would protect. This is a doctrine that goes long, long, long ago. Way past Jimmy Carter. Like 1800s. Go read it. It's like a thing. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Renee's been waiting patiently. Thanks, Renee. All right, Renee, what you got, buddy?
I want to say that the Democrats and the Epstein stuff, I mean, it's almost like the cake and music video, and they have somebody like Colburn running around in a suit. You know, they're gone the distance, they're gone the speed, they're so desperate, and their time of need to get something on Trump with the Epstein files so they could impeach him or slander him. I mean, they're fixated with that.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I'm glad if the files come out and you can't do nothing to Trump because he didn't even wait for anybody in there except maybe riding one of the guys' planes or something.
Yeah, that's a little detail. Hey, Renee, thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. Hey, look, a lot of folks shaking their heads, bud. A lot of folks shaking their heads. And, we're going to see how this all plays out. But Renee, I appreciate it, brother, as always. As always. All right, phone lines are open, 232-1542, 844-766-6607. Quiet on the phones, but not quiet on that chat. We certainly appreciate that. All right, so President Trump, I think, again, I don't understand how any American leader would. I'm not saying you don't question a president who's making strikes. I want to be very crystal clear here. But we are at a war, and your gut instinct, like your go-to, is to defend the drug dealers. Like, you don't see a problem with that? Seriously, Democrat leaders. I didn't see any Republicans criticize, but boy, I know there's some that are. Your go-to, when you hear drug cartel sending drugs to the Carolinas, incredible intel gives this into intelligence, and we want to preemptively destroy the threat before it gets on our shores. And your gut, like your first reaction, was to defend the drug cartel, was to defend drug dealers, Maduro included. Really? Your gut instinct as a leader, as an elected official, Democrat, Republican, whatever, first duty always protect the people. Always. Not by your elitism, knowing better, meaning, and protect the people with truth. We can handle it. Way better than the government. COVID. Just saying. What if we were, hey, for all the people that say we can't handle the Epstein list, y'all also said we couldn't handle COVID and you lied to us. What if, just imagine, because we only have hypotheticals here, but imagine if all the leaders in the world, to include the 3 years we had to deal with this with COVID, Democrat and Republican, okay? Imagine if only the truth was told. I'll go a little further. I'll meet some folks where they're at. What if we gave the same scrutiny to that as these Democrats and Republicans, good job, are demanding of the scrutiny and transparency of the Epstein list? Just imagine if the folks just said, if the leaders just came out and said, hey, here's what we know, which is nothing, and because it's novel, and this is what we don't know. Oh, people would have panicked. Oh, no, you created the panic. You created the panic. COVID was real. Absolutely. How we handled it was disastrous. It was disastrous. And it was all the same common denominator. Elites thinking they know more than us peasants. Elites in the club who were probably benefiting gratefully. I mean, look, man, when we first started COVID, I had all these medical experts come up to us, and they were properly trained. No, sorry. They were trained. Stretch it. They were trained, okay, to your PPE, personal protective equipment. When you're exposed, you immediately take it off. You go get new ones. Well, I wonder who created that demand. Could it be the manufacturers of gloves and masks and PPE? Could it be that training? Or was that training accurate and you BS'd us when you said we could wear the same mask for 30 times? I want transparency all the way around. Epstein, COVID, whatever. We've proven that we can handle it. You, government, have proven you can't. All right, stick around. We'll be right back, and I can't wait. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We're broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana, and also on Rumble.com. I want you to go over there to Rumble.com and look up the Josh Guillory Show. Man, y'all are nailing on the chat, man. I'm looking at you. All right, let's go to a guy that gets it here. Warren! What's up, Warren? Round two.
Well, Venezuela stole $500 billion from America, and they put all those drugs in our country and weakened our country, and also a lot of that money went to the Democratic Party. So they tried to overthrow our government. So we own it. We paid for it. And, that's probably why Charles was walking behind Trump in the royal carriage, because they got caught breaking international law, stealing everybody's money and trying to hurt a country. So I think Trump is very well justified in doing what he's doing. And on the local level, Jeff Landry is looking like he sold us out again. They're going to let the Manhattan boats go from a half a mile to a quarter mile. And Josh, those boats are huge nets, and they got a fleet of aircraft to spot those fish. And we got to quit depleting our coast, and they need to put some money back into it, what they did in Vermilion Bay by ruining it. They need to put some money back into it, and we would be the sportsman's paradise again. You catch so much fish, people would come from everywhere to fish here. But they destroy it like they destroy everything else. And Josh, I'm glad Nancy Pelosi's spending more time at home. She can be there to pay the sex worker so her husband don't get beaten in the head again with a hammer. Thank you, Josh.
Just giving some advice. He's just sending his well wishes to the Speaker Emeritus. That's all he's doing. Hey, on the coast, I and so many others at least join in with, let's do what we can, but let's do it in a cost-effective way. I challenge everybody, if you're interested in the coastal restoration, of our southern coast, Go! I want everybody to go to Cameron Parish. Seriously, if you have the time, if you're driving through, go to Cameron Parish. Go to the clerk of court. Okay, and I know Miss Susan at one point had a really good historical kind of like pictures and just data, as you imagine a clerk of court would have. And I hope that information is still there. Maybe you could call them. But there was a project at one point where engineers or whatever, I don't know if they were engineers, leaders of the day, put like these heavy rocks on this type of tree bark, okay? Literally, and put it down in the coast in little spurts. If you go today from an aerial site, you can still see from I'm talking at least 50 years. It might have been like 100-something years ago. It's still noticeable. You fast forward a little bit further, our friends in the Southwest, and you have the Rockefeller Project. These are all, why are we even talking? That's what I'm saying. We spend so much time in Baton Rouge and in Washington talking about things that don't matter, but Baton Rouge could fix our problems. You don't have nearly the obstacles that the federal government has entrenched itself in. If you want to. But we want to create Democrat seats. We want to say we have a solution to insurance, but not invite everybody to the discussion. That's just not the way that we thought this thing would roll out. It's just not. But Louisiana, man, we have such great opportunities. We could restore our coast. We could have better education. We could have better roads if we wanted to. Just like the Republican Party and just like our leaders in Washington. If Republicans in Washington wanted to cut the $2.1 trillion that Joni Ernst, seriously, the senator from Iowa, has recognized, then they would. It's not that you don't need the 60 votes. Democrats proved that to us. How did we get Obamacare? How did we get a lot of things that we don't necessarily like, but a majority voted on it? Okay. Elections have consequences. Just saying. They do. So through budget reconciliation. So I don't try to come with a problem without a recommended solution. I'm giving it to you. I'm not the only one that said this. I can't be the only one that's saying this. There's no way I'm the only one in America that is saying this. So please do it. Lead. Make the cuts. You can do it through budget reconciliation where you don't need the 60 votes. Do it. Do it. Just do it. Hey, guys, that went way too fast. Oh, my goodness. All right, guys, thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you for joining the discussion, man. We love that. Be careful out there. May God bless you and be kind.